Hey there, Cozy Babe, and welcome back to the Cozy Babes Club podcast. I'm your host, Kloee Taylor, and today we're talking about why your routines suck, your hot girl routines, why they suck, and why they're not working, and basically how to pull yourself out of this. I feel like I've done a lot of podcast episodes in the past, especially in the audio variants of this, where I've covered routines extensively, but this is the episode that's like the one that's going to rule them all. We may cover routines a little bit more in the future, going over certain ones in detail, but this is like the one episode to rule them all. And if you feel like you're somebody that really struggles to make a new habit for yourself, I'm really going to cover a lot of interesting information today. So if you feel like you struggle with that, you need some help with that, or you just want some new routine ideas, tips, and tricks, this is the episode for you. So first and foremost, I want to talk about how culturally, and you're going to know real quick if this episode is for you or it's not. And if you do not agree with what I'm about to say, this episode isn't for you and the door is over there. Sometimes content just isn't made for you, and that's okay. Culturally, there is this huge push towards 75 hard. James Clear's Atomic Habits. If you haven't read that, I'd be surprised. I feel like a lot of people have. I myself have read it. I used to like carry that thing around like it was the Bible, and I really believed in a lot of it, which don't get me wrong. I think that both 75 Hard and James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, are not terrible modalities for life. They're not terrible ways of living. They're not terrible choices to make for yourself if you follow those kinds of guidelines. My issue that I have with these things is that number one, they are rampant in today's society, especially in the wellness category. But we forget that half of the population literally does not have the same amount of energy week over week that the other half does. And we negate, as we often do, especially when it comes to even getting into the realm of like medical and wellness and all of that, we forget that half the population has a menstrual cycle. And a menstrual cycle is not, I hate to burst your bubble here, if anybody doesn't know this stuff, maybe we can cover it more in depth in the future as well. Your menstrual cycle isn't just like you bleed 1 week out of the month and that's all that's happening. Your body, every single week of the month is different. You go through 4 different phases, 1 per week roughly, and you literally are a different person. Your chemical makeup is different every single week. And obviously there's room for nuance there. Some people don't experience their cycles at the same length or even at all anymore, or they're more sporadic. So there is a little bit of nuance to this, but let's just say for the sake of simplicity, we're talking about like a 28-day cycle. A lot of these, what I would call hyper-masculine ways of living, do not assess feminine energy. They do not assess the part of someone that menstruates and take into account that your energy is different every single week. So how can you be expected to show up doing 75 hard if you don't have, which if you don't know what 75 hard is, it's basically like every single day for 75 days, you work out twice a day, 45 minutes each time, you drink a gallon of water every day. There's more to it than that. I don't really care to even look at it because it's not for me, but the problem is that we expect culturally this, oh, if you can't show up like this every single day, you're lazy. There's something wrong with you. When in reality, literally your body chemical makeup does not support it. And I think a lot of today's world, most of us could agree on, it's not built around the woman's menstrual cycle. It's not built around the female menstrual cycle or anybody that has a uterus that deals with this. And even in the way that we work, we just tell people, oh, take your Midol and stick a tampon up there and you can ride a horse backwards in the fucking ocean and everything's going to be peachy. When in reality, this is actually like a huge thing that our bodies go through for most of us every single month. And we're not given the time, attention, care, or even like the medical acknowledgement that our bodies do things differently and they're a lot more complex. So I wanted to point that out in the beginning that literally the system is like not rigged in your favor. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk about how we can get into you thriving in your routine girl era. Okay. How can we get you into your hot girl era and feeling good about your routines, feeling good about what you're doing? You need to assess your current energy, okay? We have to assess where we are. If you're somebody that's dealing with depression kitty, that's what I call it, which I'm not a mental health professional. Please keep that in mind. The things that I say should never be taken for that. And though I have a lot of experience, knowledge, have had mental health help myself, that does not make me your mental health professional, and you should always consult your own. However, all that said, you need to assess where you are energetically. I myself, for the first half of this year, dealt with intense depression kitty, okay? I call it depression kitty because of, if you've ever seen the show Big Mouth on Netflix, there's this cat in the episode that they call Depression Kitty, and it's like this huge cat that just like sits on people, and it like basically applies pressure and like keeps you just kind of down. So if you have Depression Kitty, your energy is going to be a lot different. And you're going to have to assess where you are in the process. If you're somebody that has ADHD, as a lot of us do, and we're a lot more open about that now, I myself deal with ADHD, your energy is going to be different day to day and at different points in the day. So you have to take into consideration the landscape. Where are you right now? Do you feel like you're in a really good time in your life and you have a ton of energy? Are you at a point in your life where you feel extremely low and things are not feeling good for you? It's really important to be honest with yourself about that, because if you try to give yourself like a high energy list when you are feeling this really, really low energy, you are immediately setting yourself up for failure immediately. And the way that we navigate ourselves through this is actually through a really awesome process. And it does take a lot of honesty and like sitting with yourself. I encourage a notebook, or even better, you can use your phone for this. I use my iPhone Notes app for this, and it really helps. So I want to say, before we get into like the actual, these are like the to-do list things, I need to just speak on motivation for a minute, because first of all, motivation's a lie. Motivation is not something that just exists outside of you and you are going to like hit this stride and you're going to feel motivated for the rest of your life. That will literally never happen. Motivation is something that you actually have to create, and you create it by doing actions. So the things that I say in this episode are basically going to build into that. So something I want to note about this, besides just like you have to create the habits to kind of move into it, is that, oh gosh, I think Catherine Zankina really says it the best. I love her so much, of Manifestation Babe. She is she is hot fire flames. I love her. But Catherine Zankina of Manifestation Babe explains this as, if you're lacking motivation, you need to think about motivation like going on an axe throwing date. Okay. Pretend that you're going on a date with a significant other. You're going axe throwing, and they put the target a foot in front of you, and they're like, hey, and I don't know shit about axe throwing. Neither did Catherine Zankita when she was explaining this. So like, if I don't know what I'm talking about, like just pretend that I do. Okay. Just for the point of this explanation. So let's say that you're going axe throwing, and they put the target a foot in front of you. You throw the axe, and it's really easy to hit it, right? Because it's like right in front of your face, basically. And you go, oh my gosh, getting a bullseye, that was so easy. Pretend this is something you've never done, right? You've never axe thrown before. And you do that again and again and again. And then you actually start to get bored, because you're like, dude, this is too easy. This isn't like, this is stupid. So person comes up that like does the axe throwing stuff and says, oh yeah, no worries, let's make it harder. And then they move that target 100 feet away from you, and you go, okay, yeah, challenge, let's go. You throw that axe and you are not hitting it, and you try 100 times and you're still not hitting it. You go, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get this. I'm so unmotivated to even try. Forget it. I'm just bad at this. I'm not going to do this. And then you like tell the person that runs the place, like, oh, this like just really is not, I'm not having a good time right now. And they don't just tell you to get good. They come back and they say, you know what, let's put it 5 feet in front of you and let's try again, and try to like reignite that spark of that initial motivation. And you get it, right? You start hitting it again. You hit that 5 foot mark, and then they go, okay, what about 8 feet? And then it's a little bit harder, but with practice, you're starting to get it. And then we keep moving that goalpost a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And this is how you actually create motivation and momentum in your life. So you're not supposed to go, and all of us do this. I don't care who you are. You're lying to me if you don't do this, or you haven't done it at some point in your life. Everybody has done this, where they look look at their life and they go, I'm really unhappy. I need to fix everything today. Let me start going to the gym, change the way that I eat, wake up at 6 a.m., do fucking 75 hard. Okay. Let me just like do this really dramatic thing. And I'm not telling you that that like never works. There are some people that beat the odds and it does work for them. But if it worked for everyone, we would live in a totally different society where everybody was following their dreams, goals, and didn't feel like they were in a rut all the time. Most of us are not going to operate like that. Especially, like I said, if you're somebody that has different energy week over week, if you have a cycle, you're going to show up differently week over week. So when you assess the landscape of your energy, you need to take into account the fact that you're going to have to build motivation if you don't have any, especially if you're dealing with depression kitty, okay? Depression kitty is real, or maybe you're dealing with ADHD dysfunction, executive dysfunction, where you feel like there's all this stuff you want to do, but you can't do it. That's, oh man, I've got some tips for you later in the episode if you deal with executive dysfunction. So you need to take into account that you're going to have to be building motivation over time, because that's the only way you're going to long haul give yourself the routines that you want. And I also think that the reason this was so important to me that I talk about it this week is there is a lot, and I myself have perpetuated this, and we need to make room for the nuance. And I don't know that I've spoken on this, but I think even sometimes in manifestation culture, there is a lot of this, oh, you need to be it. You need to become it before you can manifest that thing that you want into your life. And that is true. I stand on that. It is true. You have to become, if you're somebody that wants to live your life differently, you have to become the person that has those things. If you want to be a YouTuber, you need to start filming yourself and putting content out. Like, that is the reality of the situation. You need to ask yourself what that version of you would do, right? Or if you want to start a podcast, you need to ask yourself, what does the version of that person do? And how can I implement those things? The problem is you try to take on all of it at once and you hurt yourself in the process. Instead of just saying, you know what? I know I'm using YouTuber as an example, but that's because that's what I do, so it's easy. But instead of saying, you know what? I'm going to build momentum and motivation by today, I'm going to make the banner for my page. I'm going to teach myself how to do that. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on my description bar. The next day, I'm going to work on figuring out what my thumbnail style is going to be. I'm going to start figuring out ideas and exploring them next day. You breadcrumb this stuff to yourself instead of trying to literally create an entire channel and upload your first video in one day, because you will burn out. It's going to overwhelm you if it's something that you've never done before. So it's really important that you recognize in order to stay motivated, you have to just move the bar a tiny bit at a time. And this is the same with routines. You have to move the bar a tiny bit. So especially if you're somebody that is feeling like real low. So now that we've had this big discussion on your motivation, being honest with yourself, really assessing the landscape of where you are, I want to talk to you about basically the 4 routines that you actually need to create. And this is not some like magical, mystical idea. I'm not sure where this originates from. I don't know where I got this information. I apologize if it's somewhere that I'm not giving credit to. If anybody knows, I'm happy to credit my description boxes for it. But basically, you're going to map out 4 different routines. Yeah, I said it, 4 of them. And if you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, if you're watching the video, you'll actually get some representation in the video. I have some that I've made that I'll show you. And the 4 routines that you're going to make, I do this in my iPhone, like notepad app with the little check boxes because it makes it easy for me. You are going to make sad girl era. And this is if you're feeling really low. If you're feeling extremely low, you're going to start with the sad girl era routine, okay? Because that's where we're starting from. Then you're going to make low energy, medium energy, and high energy. You're going to make these 4 separate lists. And then you're going to fill it out as follows. So your sad girl energy or era, whatever you want to call it, your sad girl era is literally no more than 3 things. Because if you're in the throes of depression kitty and you can't get out of bed and you're not taking care of yourself, you need to start with things so small that you will not overwhelm yourself. And my 3 things, as somebody who has been recovering this year, the first 6 months this year were extremely hard for me. you are going to, I'm sharing a lot of like personal details in this episode, that these are things that I would do. Your list might look different. You might want to commit to 3 separate things, but these are just ideas, guidelines, if you will. So the first thing you're going to do, I put mine as brush my teeth. And then I do a high protein breakfast and my vitamins. When I am deep in the throes of sad depression kitty era, that's all I'm doing. That's what I have time and energy for. That's the best I can do. And I'm talking like, if you've never experienced that level of depression, you will not understand what it feels like to not be able to even take care of yourself at a baseline level, or take care of your home or your space. So we're going to commit to just 3 things, right? And yours could be a glass of water, it could be making your bed, just small. And when I'd say high protein breakfast, I want to make it clear that I'm not like doing a king's breakfast, okay? When I'm this upset in my life and things are not going good, I am literally buying like pre-made protein shakes. And my like carton of protein shake is the thing that I'm going to have. That's considered my breakfast, even though I know that that's not calorically dense enough to be breakfast. It counts for me. Getting like 30 grams of protein in first thing in the morning with my vitamins. That's it. And the rest of the day, like, I did my thing. I did what I was supposed to do, and now I can chill. The thing is, the reason that we do this is because when you do this and you show up for it day over day over day over day, you are proving to yourself, not only your subconscious mind, which you have no control over, but you're also your conscious mind, that you are capable of taking care of yourself. You are learning to build rapport and trust with yourself. And that's why it's so important. And some days you might only get the teeth brushing and the vitamins and you miss the protein, okay? Or you don't brush your teeth and you get the breakfast and the vitamins, or just the vitamins one day. That's okay. That's okay. We don't strive for perfection. Perfection will also put you right back where you started. So we're not striving for perfection. We're striving just to start to build some momentum. And then when you feel like your energy gets slightly better, okay, from that like really dark place. And a lot of people are going to start here with the low energy list, I feel like, versus the big sad list. With a low energy list, you're going to add a few more things. So my low energy days, if I wake up and it's like day before my cycle, first couple days of my cycle, my energy be looking like this, okay? So I'm brushing my teeth, I'm having my protein shake, I'm taking my vitamins, I'm doing a body shower. That, I feel like if you can get yourself to take a body shower, I recently started doing this daily. Some people might think this is gross, but like, I'm not saying I would go like a week without a shower. I would shower like multiple times a week, but I used to not shower every day. Like, I was never taught that that was something I should do. And during my Venus return this past month, I started showering every single day. I feel like a different person. I feel like I actually take like really good care of myself. And I don't wash my hair every day, but body shower every single day. And I swear, you just feel better. You just feel better when you're washing the energetic crap off of you. I would prioritize unloading and reloading my dishes, because when my kitchen's a mess, the rest of my house becomes a mess. And prioritize putting on comfy clothes. Those would be like, I have no energy. This is what I have energy for. And thankfully, I am in a really healthy partnership. So my list also looks different because I have someone that also looks out for me. I have someone that they know when I'm on the first day of my bleed, I'm not going to be making dinner. I'm out of commission for that. And we also share a lot of responsibilities in our relationship, but in general, like, he knows that he's going to have to figure dinner out. I don't care if it's takeout. I don't care if he cooks it, but I'm not doing it. So like, that's something to factor into my list that might be different from yours. Is I do also cohabitate with a partner that I've been with for many, many, many years. Now, let's say that you've gotten a little momentum in that low energy section. You're going to move to the medium energy list. The medium energy, I feel like, is kind of hard to suss out sometimes, because medium energy sometimes can feel like high energy, and you're like, I want to burn brighter than the sun. Do not fall for it, bestie. Do not fall for girl boss gatekeep gaslight, okay? Do not girl boss close to the sun at this stage. You are still fragile. You are still fragile. You are still learning to lean into trusting and taking care of yourself. You're still building that momentum. Do not move the goalpost 100 feet away from you when it only needs to be 25 feet away from you, okay? Don't fall for it. Come back to this episode and I will remind you, do not fall for it. At this point, you're going to take on more, and obviously, like I said, my list is probably gonna look different than yours. This is what my medium energy list would look like. I brush my teeth, I prioritize that protein, my vitamins, my body shower, I make my bed, because I don't know if y'all know this about me. I've said it once and I will say it 1,000 times. I'm a bed biddy. I love bed. If my bed is unmade, I will just get back in it, simply. I will read my little smutty stories on my little Kindle. It will be a good time, right? I will fall right back into those habits and I will just stay there. So making my bed is a very like medium energy vibe. So I will make my bed, unload the dishes, reload them, and that's bearing on if my partner hasn't done that for me already or for us already. Put comfy clothes on. I'm gonna journal. This is really important when you're in your medium energy stage. If you're not a journaler, I encourage you to assess that in your life. Assess that and ask yourself why. Why do you resist it? Because journaling is something, if you're not a journaler, you got to be a meditator. That's just, I don't make the rules. I'm sorry. If you're not a journaler, you need to be a meditator. You got to do something for that brain of yours, okay? Something, you got to commit. Something for your brain to actually start getting better and expanding. And obviously, once again, seek mental health help if you are able. I also recognize that that is not frankly accessible for everyone. And so I want to give more options to be more inclusive. So journal though, I recommend no less than 3 pages. 3 pages of a journal, just getting your feelings out, how you're feeling, what you're thinking. It will help you to kind of see everything mentally that's going on up here and assess better. So journaling, and if you're not going to journal, you got to meditate. And I myself hate meditating. It's not my favorite. That's why I choose journaling. Meditating is not for me. And I recognize that I'm in a huge resistance to it. Like that's my own shit. I got to work on that. But I also think it's cool to say like that just doesn't work for me and try something different. I've got write a podcast script on there. That's something I can do just chilling. Clean up my office, set up my camera, get my office. Like when I film like this, if you're watching the video, my office isn't just like this all the time. Like my office and setup, especially if you're on my Patreon, which time for a shameless self promo. If you're not supporting me on Patreon, I still love you, but it really helps me out as a creator. This podcast is fully funded by me and my wonderful spouse. So if you would like to support me in getting more content out like this, I have my Patreon, patreon.com/Kloee Taylor. I put out extra pick a cards, astrology reports for every single month. I also do vlogging over there. And the reason I bring it up is that you see a lot in my vlogs what my setup actually looks like. Like you'll see the other side of this camera and what we're actually doing. So if you want to see how I manage my time and my life, I would encourage you to head to Patreon for that kind of content. And I would just love to have you there. It really supports me as a small creator. It keeps food on my table, food in my belly, and I love having y'all there. So check it out. So I'll clean up my office. I'll set up my camera. I will maybe even film a pick a card, because for me in medium energy, filming a pick a card is something I can do because it doesn't like require makeup. It doesn't require me to be physically presentable in any kind of capacity. It's just my hands, right? Unless my hands and my nails are looking rough, like then we might reassess the filming. But ultimately filming a pick a card is a little lower stakes, I feel like, for me. And then, I'm going to put in a load of laundry. I'm going to vacuum my house. I'm going to cook dinner. I'm going to go outside. This is another big thing for medium energy, okay? I also feel like that can fall under the category of journaling, meditating, or going outside. One of the 3 has to happen. Point blank pyramid. All right, as I was saying, sorry, somebody was knocking at my door. It was some Congress, I don't know, man. Don't come to my door. Never come to my door. Ew. Anyways, what I was saying is that I feel that walking outside, journaling, and meditating, those are all under the same branch. So like doing any of those 3 things are going to improve your life tenfold. Just commit to one. If it's going outside every single day, like choose that one. I, on a medium energy day, will try to do at least 2. If I'm really feeling ballsy, I'm going to go for the meditation too. But medium energy day, you have just so much more energy and access to yourself, but you don't want to go whole hog. You know what I'm saying? And lastly, you want to make a list for high energy. When you have so much boundless energy to work with and you are feeling good, you are feeling high on life, you are dancing around your house, you are having a superb time. That's what this kind of list is for. And you could even have a high energy list that just like includes things that have gotten away from you that you just keep on your phone that are like, oh, I don't know, clean the microwave grease traps, clean the baseboard, something like that. Something that maybe is a task that doesn't need to be done all the time, but you're just kind of putting it off for a higher energy day. So my list looks like this. I've got brush my teeth, that protein, vitamins. I do an everything shower on a high energy day too. I'll wash my hair. I call it becoming a dolphin. I get this from one of my best friends in the whole world, where like I use the hair removal cream and like just like on my legs. I'll become a dolphin. I'll do a body scrub. I'll do dry brushing. Like I will do the whole 9 yards on myself. Unload and reload the dishes if that wasn't already prioritized. I'll get dressed up. I'll do my makeup. I'll journal. I'll write that podcast script. I will make a video fully from start to finish on a high energy day. Can you tell that today is a high energy day? Yeah, I'll take my high energy day and make something from start to finish. I will do laundry. I'll vacuum. I'll cook dinner. I'll work out for 45 minutes, like a hard workout. I'll meal plan. I'll order groceries. I will clean out my fridge in preparation for those groceries. Like on a high energy day, there's just a lot more to give. And I do find that for myself, depending on the week, there are weeks where I have significant more high energy time, especially during like ovulation. Oh my gosh. I am like I'm like a rock star during ovulation. I can do everything. I can do anything you can do better, period. Okay. Literally, but also I'm not against you. You're cool. But I could do anything you could do better. Does anybody remember that? Anyways, high energy days are just like really going for it. Okay. And I feel that if you have this concept down, you're never going to feel like you're letting yourself down or that you're not checking some kind of mental box, because no matter how you feel when you wake up in the day, you're still building rapport with yourself. And I've said it once, I'll say it again, I'll say it 1,000 times. We have an epidemic currently in the current world of people not trusting themselves. It is a lack of self-trust. If everybody trusted themselves, trusted their intuition, trusted how they were moving, what they were doing, we would live in a totally different world. We wouldn't be getting swindled by businesses that don't have our best interests. We wouldn't be falling for all of the marketing campaigns. We wouldn't be like, literally our entire world would be structured differently if everybody trusted themselves. There would be so many industries that would go bankrupt if everybody trusted themselves. So I feel like ultimately what this does is it puts the power back on you. And I also want to say that within these routines, it's okay to just not have a routine too. Not every day, in my opinion, but it's okay to wake up and be like, you know what? The well is empty. The well is completely empty. I can't think about a routine. I can't look at that. And I do feel like the idea of the sad energy, the sad girl energy list is for that. So you're still keeping that rapport with yourself. But at the end of the day, like if you feel like having this list is going to make things worse, just go a couple days without one. Especially if you're in the first few days of your menstrual cycle, you're probably going to need that to just, do your own thing. Do your own thing and don't be paying attention to that. All right. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with in this episode is if you're an ADHD girly, I have some suggestions for you. As somebody with ADHD, it's really important for me that I discuss these things and bring them to you because I think that they have dramatically improved the state of my life as I have implemented them. When the ADHD is ADHDing and it's being too much, there are two things that I will absolutely enact that they do require another person, but ultimately they just really help. And these are two things that have literally shifted me out of sad girl energy and into low, medium, and some days even high energy. So I really encourage that if there's a family member, a friend, or shoot, even if you joined like an online community, obviously keep yourself safe. I don't think I need to school you on internet safety. If you're here, I would hope you would know better. But like we have a Discord, and if y'all want a chat that is just like a check-in, I would be happy to make that in the Discord. I think that would be such a beautiful thing for y'all to have accountability with each other. But ultimately, have somebody that you can rely on to at least know what you're doing and that you can check in with later in the day. So for me, what this looks like is I will literally send whatever list I have going that day to my best friend. And I go, hey, this is my list for today. And then later in the day, I'm going to send her how that list turned out and how much I got done. Because just knowing that I have somebody else that isn't going to be mean to me if I don't finish it, just knowing that somebody else knows what I'm trying to accomplish, it completely transforms my ability to do things. And also, a lot of times they will send their own list too. And knowing that we're both doing it, it's not a competition. It's not a competitive thing. It's like, I don't know, it just like inspires me to want to do things, just being inspired by that other person. And I'm the first person to tell you, if your friends don't inspire you, you don't have friends, you have a cage, period. Be mindful of that. You are the 5 people that you spend the most time around, and everybody always wants to think that they are not influenceable. Every single person on the face of the planet is influenceable, even you. And surround yourself with people that will support you, because that's what you need. You need that inspiration and that support. And I'm not saying, no nuance Nelly, that you can't be with your friend in a low point when they're not inspiring you. It's not their job to do that. But I feel like if you are constantly fighting that for long extended periods of time and they're not going through something, like I said, put the nuance in there. But honestly, just sharing your list with somebody else will do a lot. And secondarily, same in the realm of talking to someone else. If your friend or a family member has space, call them. I know, a millennial crime. Who gets on the phone? We all turned our ringers off in 2010 and said we are not using our phones as phones, my friend. I encourage you to actually try to break that. Call somebody up on the phone. And if there's somebody that's like, I don't answer my phone, why the fuck you calling me? It's an emergency. No. Tell them before, like, hey, if I call you, it doesn't mean it's an emergency. I'm just like, I need accountability. And call your friend up on the phone, your family member, your sister, whoever. Call them up and just while you're on the phone, tell them like, hey, I'm going to do my dishes and I'm going to mop and I'm going to set my camera up, whatever. And I just need to know that somebody knows that I'm doing these things. And I think in the ADHD world, we actually call this body doubling, where like somebody knows that you're doing the thing and then you confirm with them that you did the thing. And it's also nice just to like catch up while you're doing those things. I find if you have someone to talk to, it just like makes it easier. And oftentimes the other person will also start doing tasks. Like you'll both start to be like, oh, you're cleaning, I want to clean. So, or, whatever it is that you're trying to get done. I just feel like those two things, with having executive dysfunction sometimes and also feeling like I can't get like the focus on my tasks, that has helped me tremendously. Like y'all, again, I'm not trying to say that it like cured my depression, but I literally feel like connecting closer with people in my life that love and care about me and being able to rely on them a little bit more and not just always try to be like fixing my own shit. Literally, I went from being like the most depressed I've ever been in my whole life to like, I feel like my life has purpose again. I'm like, oh, I actually feel like I want to be here. I wake up and I feel good. And like, it feels good to have that. And so like never discount the power of connection, and don't hesitate to get that. And if you feel like you're somebody that doesn't have that in your life right now, again, I'm not trying to say like make your life all parasocial and stuff, but if y'all really do want like a chat, I will put it in my Discord for like check-ins for things like this, because I think everybody deserves to feel like they're being seen and heard. And everybody deserves to have that kind of comfort and that kind of assistance, especially in a world where many of us cannot always afford the help that we really need. And if I can be that force for good online, I want to be that. All right, that's what I have for today's episode. I hope this helped you out. I hope it helped you solve the grand problem of why your routines suck and they're not working for you. And I hope I gave you some good big sister advice. And now we are going to move on to tarot smut or self-transformation. So what I've been doing is just asking Siri to pick a number between 1 and 3. So we're going to do that. So tarot smut or self-transformation, 1, 2, or 3, basically. Hey Siri, can you pick a number between 1 and 3?
The answer is 3.
All right, self-transformation today. I love that for us. So, self-transformation, I actually was smart this time and I brought my Kindle with me. I brought my Kindle for show and tell. All right, for self transformation this week, we are going to be reading passage 59 from Brianna Weiss, The Pivot Year. And it says, "The measure of a life well lived is not how often you have avoided discomfort, pressure, or change, but the grace with which you navigated it. To say that you face not even a fraction of resistance within your life proves nothing more than that you were defined by nothing, tried for nothing, stood for nothing, did nothing with the gifts that were given to you. I know it seems like the absolute worst thing in the world is to be disapproved of, but the actual worst thing is to paralyze yourself under the guise that you might be able to avoid any friction. The merit is not in whether or not you have ever experienced anything challenging, but the courage with which you faced what challenged you. That is what matters. That is what defines who you are." Ooh, that gave me goosebumps. That chilled me to the bone. I really struggled to get this episode up. Like, I really struggled to get this one going. For some reason, I was really afraid of bringing like the topic of menstruation into my work, even though it's something that is such a core value for me. And I like recorded the intro to this episode like 4 times. And I really needed to read that. So I hope that transformed you the way it transformed me. I hope that was a portal for you. And thank you so much for joining me. Please do not forget to check out all of my links. I have my Patreon if you want to be a G, help me out. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get a course directed by me, I have my Vision Board to Destiny. If you need some help with that, I stand on business. It's an excellent masterclass, technically, that will really lead you through the process of creating a vision board that will work for you. I literally manifested my house this way, my waterfront house. Takes you through that, helps you break through any blocks that you might have. I also have my Authentically Aligned course, which is a 4-week course on transforming your life. And I also have private readings if you'd like to book me for one. Everything available on KloeTaylor.com. And follow me around the web. I'm at Kloee Taylor. I've been posting more stuff to my Instagram lately, and I'm really proud of myself because I've kind of been like shy from the like short form content for a long time, and I've really felt like inspired to post more there. So definitely follow me. I'm at Kloee Taylor. I'm the only account that is Kloee Taylor spelled like this that has the blue check. If you ever see somebody roll up into your DMs, it's not me, it's a scam. And just don't listen to them, okay? I don't have a backup account, so just be advised. And is there anything else I want to mention to y'all? I don't think so. I think I pretty well covered everything. Anyways, I love you so much. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I will talk to you next Sunday. Bye.